Hi, this is Chris Cardillo from virtuallegalshow.com, and today I want to talk about Microsoft Word 2010 in 10 minutes for lawyers. So we're going to get started real quick here, but before I do, I just wanted to invite you to come and join us for free at our live May 31st event where we're giving away the new iPad 3 and to also sign up for our free newsletter. All you have to do is come and register right here and you'll get an opportunity to win that new iPad. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started on learning Microsoft Word 2010. Okay, so if you're familiar at all with Microsoft Word, the thing that you're going to notice initially is that this whole toolbar has been changed or replaced. So all of the things that you would have seen in the old 2003, 2097 versions of Microsoft Office are changed because this new bar, they call it the ribbon bar, has now altered what you can do with or the view of the way things look inside Word. Now, the reason they've done this is to try to make things a little bit easier rather than throwing everything into one toolbar where the buttons were small. And actually, if you can see some of this stuff, a lot of these buttons are exactly the same as the old Word. However, what you're going to see is that they've tried to make the interface better for users. Now, of course, that's harder for some of us that are used to the old stuff, but I think as you get used to the new toolbar, you're going to see that they've added some new features that are very nice, and you'll get used to switching back and forth between the ribbon toolbars here. Okay, so at the top here, so you've got the Home tab, right? If you click on the Insert tab, that changes all of the buttons that you're looking at, and then you want to come into, let's say, the Page Layout tab, and that gives you a different set of buttons. References tab, this is one that's familiar for a lot of the law firm users, and then if you come into Mailings, Review, and View. Now, there's a couple of other tabs that will appear as soon as you add pictures and you do certain things inside Word. Those tabs will come up right over here, and they'll be highlighted in a different color, typically red or pink or something like that, and or orange. And you'll see that that those options are now going to be available to you once you're in those areas. So, so the toolbar is it's always going to change depending upon what you're doing in Word. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to come down here into File, and we're going to create a new blank document. Now, if you see here, if you go to File, which they added actually, if you do have Word 2007, this feature is still here, but it's instead of File, they actually have the button. They have the big circle or a button right up here, and it basically it looks similar. So Word 2007 is where they added the ribbon bar, and most of those features are intact in 2010. However, they've added some things to make it look a little bit different. So the File feature, people wanted that back, so they added that back and got rid of the little drop down button. Okay, but basically all the features are here under File. So here's where you would add or create a new blank document. You can also come in here and choose a template item. Okay, your system admin can actually create a link to your firm's templates here as well. Also under File, you have typical things like Save, Save As, Open, Close. You can go into Print, and you can save and send it. So here's a great one. I love this one. Save it. You can send it using email, right? So that's something that you're going to use quite often. Send as an attachment. Send as a PDF, right? If you have these enabled, send as internal fax or internet fax. Okay, so here we're going to come in, create a new blank document. Okay, so now we've created a new blank document inside Microsoft Word. Okay, so here we're going to add some text. Alright, so we can easily highlight the text, right? We can change the color of the text. Oop, I'm going to highlight it first. Right. Now we can actually change the size of the text. And all of this stuff happens because I'm in the home screen. Okay, a lot of the same type of things that you're familiar with, all the key combinations such as the Control C, the Control V, and all that type of stuff works. So Control C, right? Control C makes a copy. Control V pastes it, right? Control X will cut it. Control X, right? So all those type of things still work. I'll actually put that out on a separate document for you later on with all of the shortcuts. So you may want to certainly sign up for the newsletter so I can send that out to you, let you know that that's available. But in any case, you've got those basic features are just built right in to your normal Word. Right here, this is really kind of what Microsoft has always been about, but because it was kind of hidden, people really never took advantage of these already created for you styles, right? So basically what Microsoft wants you to do is actually implement styles in your document. And why is this important? Well, if you could see, I'm hovering over these styles and it's changing the look and feel of the text on the screen. Well, I love that because I can actually stylize my document, and if I need to make a change or alter the style, it'll change the way the document looks immediately. Like, so if, for instance, my boss says, I want everything to be, in style 22, right? Well, I stylized everything as 12, right? In some sections, maybe 14. So if I've actually created styles and applied those styles to the subsections, all I have to do is come into the style that I use and alter that and make a change. And so that change has then been applied to the entire document. And if it's a 30-page pleading file, well, you've just made that change across the entire file within a second or two, without doing too much work. So using styles is very important, and getting familiar with that within Word. It's very easy. You apply the style, and if you come down here, you can actually see more styles. You can actually add new styles. So if you're creating inside here, you can actually come in and say, I'm going to make this not bold, and I'm going to take out the highlighting, right? And I can come in and drop down and choose Save Selection as a new quick style, right? And I can name it, and it'll apply it to my toolbar. Okay? All right, so now we have quite a few other things that are right here on this screen. I'm not going to get to everything, obviously, but here we have the indent features. So you can indent or unindent, right? So increase the indent or decrease the indent. You can actually come in here to the line and paragraph spacing. This is an extremely useful one because I think by default Microsoft Word changes the spacing to be like this 1.15, and there's also space before and after the paragraph. So knowing that this exists even is very helpful. So if you look here, if I'm gonna, this is more text, notice that there's quite a bit of a gap between here. And so all I have to do is drop down here. I'm going to change it to 1, and then I'm going to remove space after paragraph, right? So now it's removed that additional space there, because by default, Word will add that space before the paragraph. Okay, so that can be very annoying if you're trying to look around and try to figure out how to remove that space that's been added. Okay, so know that this is the feature right here. It's line and paragraph spacing. If you come in, you can also drop in here, and it looks exactly like the line and paragraph spacing from Word 2003 in some of the early versions of Word. So they have not changed a lot of this stuff. It's just the toolbar here looks different. Okay, so this little button here is very useful for lawyers and law firms. Is showing the actual codes, and if you're a WordPerfect lover, then certainly knowing that you have some level of reveal codes in Word is usually a pleasant thing for you. So you can turn those on, turn those off. You also have the basic numbering right here, and outlining, and all of that works exactly the same. You also have bullets, and you've got several different options for how you want your bullets to look as well. Okay, so that's kind of the basic stuff that you'll see on this toolbar, with the exception here of the find and replace. Those are things that you'll use quite often, I'm sure. So find and replace, and now we're going to get into the insert tab. And before I get too far along, I want to talk about how you can insert. You can insert clip art shapes. This is very helpful. I love inserting different shapes, text boxes, drawing a shape inside here. And notice when I added that shape, now Drawing Tools has come up. Okay, so I can come in and change the color. I can change the fill, right? All of these things did not exist because you didn't have the Drawing Tools format item until I highlighted or created this shape. So you see that disappeared as soon as I got off of it, and it reappears as soon as I did get on it. Okay, so again, we're going to come back into the insert. Insert, we have page numbers. This is where you'll actually insert a page number. Your headers and footers, you can add the headers and footers. You can create a drop cap. This is nice if you actually want to create a drop cap. There you go. So just adds kind of another flavor to your design of your document. It's not typical that you'll see that a whole lot in legal documents, but it's certainly there. Word has added a lot of these kind of graphical features, and getting to know those things can be very beneficial. So let's see what else we have here. Symbols. This is something that you'll see a lot of. The copyright symbol, the registered sign. Certainly, the paragraph symbol, the section symbol. You come into the more symbols, and you can actually find the symbol that you want to put in there. The equation bar is also inside there. Equations, take a little bit more. There's certainly some symbols in that. So I don't know if you're typing up some extensive type document there, scientific type thing, you'll want to use the equation symbols and add that to your text, right? So then we're going to come into the page layout. I'm sorry, go back to the insert again. We've got the page break and blank page. You can actually create a table here as well. But let's go back to page layout. Okay, so in page layout, this is where you're going to set your margins. And typically you're going to use narrow or normal. most of the time it's going to be normal, which is your 1-inch margins, and then they have narrow. But they have several other options right in here, and you can customize your margins right here. And then if you come into orientation, typically you're going to use portrait, but you do have the landscape option, and that it's just a click of the switch there under page layout, orientation, and then you've now changed it to landscape. All right. You can come into your sizing right here, change that. We're in letter. It's typically where we're going to be. Here's where you have columns. This is very useful, especially in some of the legal documents where you're going to create 2-column type layouts. Also, you have the breaks. This is probably the most important part of Word, and something that it may take you a little long to find if you didn't know it already. So this is where you're going to create your next page page break. So this way you can break up your first page, which will have certain types of numbering on it. So usually your first page does not have a number. Your second page will probably be a table of contents, or your table of authorities, and so that may start with a little Roman numeral I and go through whatever, maybe a Roman numeral 5, let's say, and then it starts your actual page numbering, which would be like 1 through wherever, to the end of your document. So this is where you're going to create those breaks, so that your section breaks show where the numbers are going to show or they're not going to show. So that's under page layout again, under breaks. Line numbers, I don't ever use that, but some firms do. Watermarks, this is where you actually put draft. You click in watermarks, you can actually add confidential, right? If you could see it here, it's a little hard to see, I'm sure, for you, but they have that capability right there. If you actually come in, you can come in to remove your watermark or make a custom watermark. And give it a second here. You can actually change what the text is going to show, right? And also you can change the color, or the how much it's going to show. Not, let's say the actual color, but let's say we want to be darker. You can actually make it darker by clicking this and making it darker across the screen. So now you can even see it better, right? So there we go. All right, so we've added that, and you can also change the orientation. This can be a cross, it can be diagonal, it can be vertical, and you can all do that from watermark, or just remove your watermark completely. All right, so we've got page borders, page color. You can change the actual color of the page. And if you've applied these themes, you can actually change your themes, just like Microsoft Publisher would do. So if you're familiar with Publisher, a lot of times the themes that you applied in Publisher, notice the graphic on the page changes as I hover over this. So if you've actually created graphical elements, it will take those elements and apply a color theme to it, so you can quickly and easily change those color schemes. Okay. Now we're going to come into the reference screen. Inside here you've got your normal table of contents where you can add text to that. You've got footnotes, you can insert your footnotes, and you've got citations. Okay, so this is also here's table of authorities. So here, this is where you'll actually mark the citations for the table of authorities and insert your table of authorities once you've actually done that. If you're using the Westlaw tool, you would not necessarily use this. So there's a Westlaw tool which allows you to just search your document and automatically come up with your table of authorities. There was a free tool for many years, but they've offered it now as a paid tool. So it's a great tool. but they've added integration now with your legal research as well. I'm sure Lexis probably has something similar, but I have not used that. So in any case, if you have to do your table of authorities by yourself without using those tools, this is where you'll do it. It's under the References tab, and it makes sense. So in essence, it's a fine thing that Microsoft has changed this ribbon, just because now it makes sense when I come into this tab. All of the stuff that I'm going to use that's related to references are going to appear underneath it. Under mailings, this is where you're going to do a mail merge. And if you notice here, if I'm going to do a mail merge, a letter mail merge, let's say with an Excel spreadsheet or something that I have out there, you're going to see that it looks and feels a lot like the older version of Word. So that's pretty much it, guys. There's not a whole lot more I can cover in 10 minutes, but certainly I think we have covered quite a bit in for this lesson. I'm going to have a more detailed, a more in-depth word lesson in the video training there. So come back to the site, and as this stuff, as you want to learn a little bit more of the advanced features of Word, come back and watch the longer video, okay? Or watch some of the other videos that we have up there. Okay, so we're going to keep adding to this, but feel free to come back and visit us again. Thanks again.